video on the move because been hesitating and I could have went, but now it's too late. I just called to say my goodbyes to Megan because I'm going back to uni tomorrow, so I'm like driving really quick before it gets dark. What a shock. But anyway, I wanted to film an updated question and answer because obviously it's been very long. Again, do you really want to get some sushi? Because I did actually just finish my last exam today. Finished it this morning. It was like 3 hours. So I kind of want to celebrate and get some sushi. Okay, so I literally got one. It's not a very good option, not gonna lie, and I'm not even sure if I'm gonna like it, but I just had to buy one of them because I'm really craving it. I also got a iced coffee, but sushi and iced coffee mixed together is kind of weird. This is one of the reasons I'm so excited to get back to Newcastle, is because there's like better food options. And by better food options, I just mean there's sushi. Why can I not get this open? First question is, what's it like living alone? So I absolutely love living alone. I kind of knew that I would love it, having my own space and just being in control of all of my surroundings. Like I just really love it. It's definitely not for everyone, and it definitely does get difficult. Like another question is how to avoid getting lonely. One thing I would definitely recommend is that if you're living on your own, like for me, I'll make sure that I'm out during the day. Like I'll make sure I'll do like uni, kind of like, even if I'm not in class, I'll just like go to the library, and I'm like out during the day, and then when I come home in the evening, it's kind of like my downtime. Like I don't feel lonely because I'm like, okay, this is my time to like chill, and I nearly want to be on my own because I've been out of the house all day. Key thing is to just like keep yourself busy. Let's try my sushi. I'm gonna put some soy sauce over it. Yeah, it's good. Sorry, I couldn't even answer and eat there. I just wanted to eat that. Okay, another question was about getting my lip filler dissolved. Why I got it dissolved. I'm not really going to answer that because I did a whole video on it, so it'll be kind of boring if I go into that now, but I did get it dissolved. And another question was, am I going to get more? And I think I came to the conclusion no. I was kind of on the fence and didn't know, but lips are overlined as fuck right now, and I'm just like, that does the job. Like I cannot be bothered to be messing about with filler again. Will you be visiting Ellen much in London, and will there be vlogs? Yes, definitely. I'm itching to get down to her already, and I haven't been over. For those of you that don't know, Ellen's my sister, and she moved to London there, and I am dying to go and visit her, and I will 100% be vlogging it. How I found being at uni during COVID. Being at COVID during uni, like I kind of took it for granted last year, I think, because like, everything was like online, and like my friends were doing nothing but drinking. Like it was just, everyone was just drinking all the time because no one was working, no one was in uni, and I kind of took it for granted because I feel like last year everyone seeing each other so much more. I actually kind of like missed that. Like don't get me wrong, I don't miss the online uni. It was so difficult. I kind of missed the not having a lot to do and then just being able to drink all the time. So a few of these kind of link in together. So someone said, how am I feeling? Someone asked about like mental health and if I have like issues. So I feel like these two can tie in together because at the minute I kind of don't feel good. I didn't really want to answer this here because I don't want it to come across that I'm like complaining in my videos, but then I always say, I've said this a million times, obviously it's so good to talk about these things, I just don't want it to come across like I'm being really negative and stuff. But I feel like I'm just going through a phase in my life where things are very like up in the air, and I tend to feel myself having like more bad days than good days. Like I just can't like put my finger on what's wrong with me. And like obviously, you know, I've just finished my exams today. Like I've been stressed. I've kind of not been doing much. I've been sitting in the house revising. I haven't seen a lot of my friends. I haven't really like seen my boyfriend. I haven't seen a lot of my family. So also kind of like stressing a lot about next year. So like I can literally see a question what my plans are after uni, and honestly if I think about it for long enough, I feel like I'm gonna have a mental breakdown here and there. I don't have plans at the minute for after uni. I have no idea what I'm doing, like where I'm gonna be, and it's kind of overwhelming. Obviously it's normal for everyone to feel like this year whenever they're like in like final year of uni. Like I've been in full-time education since whatever age, and I kind of always had that stability of not having to worry about what I'm doing because I'm already working towards something. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm working towards my degree, so I don't have to really worry about what I'm doing with my life. Whereas now I'm coming to the end of my degree and I'm like, oh shit, what are my future plans? And I mean, I cannot stop thinking about it every single day. As for like mental health problems, I feel like I've never really got into it on my channel. I remember when I first started my channel, someone asked me, how do you deal with like bad days? And I remember I answered him as like, oh, I'm quite lucky, like I don't really have bad days. And I'm like, wow, how times have changed. That was also kind of a lie. So like, before I also speak about any of this here, like I don't want people to think I'm being dramatic. Like I don't have like, I've never suffered from like depression. I've never suffered from like any real serious mental illness, you know. Hello? Myself? Oh. Yeah. Love you, bye bye. I can't remember where I was at. But basically, yeah, there's been like 2 times in my life where I've actually been to speak to like a therapist, counselor. I don't really know. Is therapist American? I think therapist is American, but people say it. But anyway, yeah. So one time was whenever I was in school. I can't remember what year I was, like 5th year, and then I went again whenever I was in 1st year. So the first time I went, I was just kind of like young, and I feel like I didn't really know how to deal with like the emotions that I was going through. And then the second time, I again feel like it was another transition in my life. I just moved to uni and stuff. I think there's kind of like a stigma around like going to a counselor. People are like, oh my god, like, you know, if they're going to a counselor they must be like so mentally unstable and stuff, and like that's not the case. I just do feel like you can really benefit from talking to a person, and I did really benefit from it, but I just like can't explain. This has been such a bad answer because I just can't really explain how I'm feeling. Like one time I saw a tweet and it was like, do you ever be sitting in a situation and you're so happy but in your head you're thinking I could be happier? And I feel like that's the way I feel every single day, and that's kind of a terrible thing to think about. You could be happier. That's my current situation. I just feel a bit like ugh. Okay, the next question is, have you ever considered getting management? I did get approached by a management company before for like YouTube and like Instagram and all, but at the time I didn't really feel like it was necessary. Like I didn't, like, my following was smaller, and everything I was doing I could kind of do on my own. And also I've just heard a lot of bad things about managements. Like I'm not saying they're all bad, but I have heard a good few stories of like things going wrong and stuff, and I've also heard like great stories as well. But I think then I definitely just like couldn't really be bothered for it, and now like it's not that I'm like on the hunt for a management, but I feel like if one came I wouldn't be as quick to say no. I feel like I'll just see how things go. Management would be quite good though. Like sometimes it's so hard like picking things up on your own. Even like invoices, like having to create an invoice, I had no idea how to do that whenever I first started YouTube, and then I just had to, like, people would be like, okay, send me your invoice over, and I'm like, what goes on an invoice? It was just constant back and forth. They're like, oh, you forgot to put this on, and can you add this? And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna answer all of the boyfriend ones now. So just like how I met my boyfriend and all that there. So okay, so this is kind of a long story that I'm gonna completely shorten into a really short one. So basically I met my boyfriend because we were already friends at uni. Kind of became friends in 1st year, and then like we were all in a friend group, and then in the very first lockdown, like the really strict one, COVID had just came, we were obviously like all home and stuff, and then we just kind of started talking, and at the start it was actually as like friends, and then it just like progressed. This was like nearly the whole first lockdown. It's like literally like texting every day. We obviously didn't see each other because you weren't allowed to see anyone, and then when things started to open up we kind of started like seeing each other. Like we went on a few dates and all, and it just did not end well. This was like the period in life where no one had a fucking clue what was going on. Like I just remember my Twitter being like, does anyone actually know what's going on? You know, when things started to open up and things between me and him started to go like west, and slowly but surely turning into this like unhealthy toxic situation, like, and I was like, okay, this is like not gonna work, and we should just end it before we end up like not being friends and like falling out and stuff. That is the thing, whenever you like you start to go with one of your friends, you're like, shit, it kind of puts a bit of pressure on. But this was like the end of summer, we were moving back to uni, and I was heartbroken. So this is the bit where I was like, how much did I overshare here? Like I had a conversation with Megan, and Megan was like, just overshare about it, you know, like she was like, just say how you were really feeling, like don't, you know, hold back about it. So, and I feel like I didn't really want to overshare about it because it kind of like sheds like negativity. I think the thing is, like, the harsh reality of it is that we were both like, we're not gonna work here. And I was kind of gutted because, like, you know, whenever you get a gut feeling about something bad, like I always get like gut feelings about good things. I just kind of had a gut feeling about me and him, and I was thinking like, you know, if we were to work, this would be really good. I just like kind of had a feeling. So I think that's why I took it so bad. But at the same time, as heartbroken as I was, I did not want to start things up again because I didn't want, like who can be arsed with being in like a unhealthy relationship. So the next few months were very, very rough for me. I said there, I had spoke to a counsellor twice in my life. This period in my life, I needed to be with a counsellor, but I think I was just so in denial. Like I just didn't want to admit that I was feeling this way about a boy. Like, it was a period where I did not want to make memories. Like I just didn't want to make any memories because I didn't want to look back and think how bad I was feeling. Like I didn't want to take pictures because I'd be like, I know I'm going to look back on this picture and think how shit I was feeling, like behind the scenes. And like, you know, whenever you're bored and you scope your own Instagram and like you scroll down, I get to a certain point on my Instagram and I'll not scroll past because I just get like crushed with emotions I felt at that time, and they're all just so negative. I just really liked him and I wanted it to work and it didn't, and I kind of like took it bad. So for like months of being miserable, I think it was like Christmas Day, I just had an epiphany and I was like, okay, time to move on, this needs to finish. I actually started talking to another boy, I think on Christmas Day around my epiphany. this went really well. Like I went into like my new year chatting to him, and we were going on like dates and all, and that was like going well until obviously like when you're with someone for quite a bit and you're spending loads of time together, of course like conversations are going to pop up about like what's happening and stuff, and I feel like the minute those conversations started to pop up, I was like, shit, I'm really not over Paul here. Paul's my boyfriend, sorry, I forgot to say his name. And I was so annoyed because at the start I was like, oh my god, this is it, like I'm getting over him, I'm starting to feel so much better, I'm starting to feel so much happier. And then the minute I realised that the boy, like I'm actually just like not over him, and I've just been being so in denial. So I finished things with that boy. I was like, there's no point like pursuing this anymore, and like there's no point wasting his time either, like it's not fair. So I actually stated in a YouTube video about how like I was seeing someone and then it finished because I like wasn't ready for a boyfriend and stuff. That was a lie. That it was just because I wasn't over Paul. I wasn't ending it to like pursue things with Paul again. I was just ending it because I was like, I obviously need like more time here to heal. However, obviously me and Paul started talking again, and then we went through this like weird phase where we would just like spend time together but like nothing would happen. So like it would literally be like after nights out and stuff, and like people may not believe that nothing happened, but literally nothing did happen. I think we did cuddle, but that was it. Like there wasn't even a kiss. But this was kind of like the first time, because obviously like I said, we'd been in lockdown, so we hadn't spent loads of one-on-one time together on like a romantic level. So this was kind of like the first time period where it was like continuous and like things were like flowing. And I remember I said to Megan, I was like, they kind of just like feel different this time, like I don't know why. And obviously she was just like, yeah, stupid bitch. Obviously like it started off like nothing was happening, like it wasn't friends. I don't know what the fuck it was. Like we weren't friends, and we weren't friends with benefits, if anyone's thinking that. I don't know what the hell was going on. It was really weird. Yeah, it turned into more, and it's just like I said, it's just been so different. It just like took a U-turn, and it's only went up from that period. Oh, actually, I forgot to say, so at the start of the year, we actually did have a fallout where we actually weren't speaking. We were on like not good terms, and I'm not going to go into the fallout because it actually turns out it was really stupid, and we probably shouldn't have even fell out, but whatever. So we like moved back to uni, and like we weren't talking. This was the first time since we started talking where there was actually no communication, because even though we ended after summer, it'd still kind of be like chatting here and there, having conversations, and like we'd be like flirting all the time. We had that fallout. Obviously like we sorted it after a while, but it was sorted very much on the terms where like things were just, we're like, we'll be civil to each other for the sake of like our friend group and not make things awkward or anything. That whole like, that being the first time that we had actually cut communication, and the whole like seeing other people, I feel like it was kind of a shake that we needed, and that's what made us realize we actually want to like talk to each other. And yeah, that's it. Bit of a roller coaster. I feel like looking back, obviously I couldn't work out why that rough patch was so bad. I was like, what the fuck am I gaining from this here, seriously? Obviously looking back now, I just feel like we had to go through all those like obstacles. Yeah, and then we became boyfriend girlfriend, and it's been great ever since, so I really can't complain. It's getting pretty dark outside. If you had the choice, would you do a career in social media, or will you do a career in your degree? Again, this is future plans that I kind of don't want to think about, but I don't know if I would do it. Like I'm not in uni to be in uni. I'm in uni because I like my degree. I study mechanical engineer. I'm in it because I like it, and I'm in it because I do kind of see a career in it. And then sometimes whenever I'm like go through phases of putting loads of effort into my Instagram, I actually feel like really mentally drained. Like whenever I'm waking up every day and like, you know, I'm like creating content, and I'm like, could I actually do this as for the rest of my life? Don't get me wrong, it's unreal being able to make money from something you love so much, but honestly like it's something that I love doing, and I'll 100% keep pursuing it, but I'm not sure that I would do it like full time for the rest of my life. If you weren't doing your degree now, what would you be doing? Honestly, don't know what I would be doing. I was actually first applying to uni, so I originally wasn't going to apply to uni. I was going to take a gap year because I did not know what to do at uni. I was going to take a gap year, and then it wasn't until the day before the UCAS deadline, and my teacher was like, look, why don't you just apply and keep your options open? He was like, you don't have to go to uni, you can just take a gap year. I did end up going to uni that year. I didn't take a gap year, so thank God my teacher made me apply, because I'm pretty sure if I took a gap year I probably would never have went back to education. The only thing I actually ever wanted to do was be a pilot, and no, I'm not copying Olivia Neal. I actually did want to be a pilot, but to be a pilot it's obviously so expensive. Like people like remortgage their houses and stuff, and my mum and my daddy were like, sorry, we're not remortgaging our house whenever you're not entirely sure if you even want to do this. And I was like, fair enough. I did actually apply to do one of those scholarship things like EasyJet, where basically they pay your training and then you go and work for them, but obviously me being an indecisive queen was like, I don't even want to do this anymore, so I don't even think I finished the application. Thank fuck my mum and daddy didn't remortgage their house. Okay, but anyway, that's all the questions I'm going to answer because you just can't even see me anymore. Wow, that's amazing lighting. I look so good there. I really hope that everyone enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.